More and more people wake up with no memory in Alcatraz. All around them, people sleep. Like the group before, they discover strange new powers as they work together to find a way to the mainland. This time through a tunnel under the facility that passes all the way under the bay. They have regained some of their memories, but remain very confused. Unlike their predecessors, they are armed with little more than flashlights and the prison jumpsuits on their back. They don't know how they ended up in Alcatraz, or how these new powers came about. Hopefully, answers lie beyond the trap door they are passing through as they climb a ladder out of this tunnel. Okay, guys, you find yourselves in an empty building, some of the windows cracked and broken. Outside you hear the ocean and seagulls, but no people. Looking out one of the windows, it appears that you have emerged on an abandoned boardwalk.
So Gilly, he heads towards the window and kind of peers out and towards the boardwalk, looking for any signs of life around the place.
As you take a better look out the window, you really don't see any signs of people here. Most of the buildings look like they haven't been occupied, or most of them are like carnival type businesses, and they look heavily disused. You think out of the corner of your eye you can see the Golden Gate Bridge a distance away. Maybe about half a mile.
So James mutters under his breath, "Damn, San Francisco." He pops out and kind of ushers his compadres over.
You got a problem with San Francisco?
Never liked the place.
Penny comes over to the window. Our kind of walk is a bit awkward. Almost looks like she's kind of walking around for the first time, like a deer, very frail legs, slightly hunched in shoulders as she's looking around, scratching the side of her cheek with her left forefinger.
San Francisco. Weird. I don't remember coming to San Francisco.
Where were you incarcerated at?
I don't really think we're on a first incarceration name basis.
Didn't ask your name, just where you were incarcerated.
Oh, shit.
And she kind of pauses for a second, tapping her chin.
I don't actually remember. Kinda still fuzzy. What about you?
I was in Angola. That's Louisiana State Penitentiary. That's a long way from San Francisco, and I never signed off on coming nowhere outside of Louisiana.
Well, usually I think if you're in prison, you don't get to sign off on much.
I'm in state prison. They don't move you out of the state. Never.
At that point, Joel Wolf's gonna come walking up. Well, I don't think you really had much of a choice now, did? Either way, you're here now. And he's gonna walk towards the window.
I was just wondering how far all of us came from. A little curious.
Joe, as you're looking out the window, can you roll an intuition? If you guys click on your tokens, you'll see some of the more common rolls that we do, and intuition's one of the stats. And if you see he rolled a 74, and underneath it, 1 through 50 is white. That means that's a fail. 51 through 80 is a green success, and that means that's just a normal success. 81 through 97 would be a yellow success, and that indicates a really good hard success, and anything above that red is exceptional. So he succeeded on his intuition roll. As you're looking out, trying to spot or hear signs of people, you look at the bridge and you think that there's something about it catches your eye. It's a distance away, but you think that there's some sort of buildings or structures that have been built up on the bridge itself.
Hey, look at that. That's something underneath the bridge over there.
What do you mean something?
Underneath there. You see that?
James kind of peers next to him and says, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see some buildings underneath the bridge, and also it looks like there's been something built up on the bridge itself. Looks like almost from this distance apartments or something. You can't imagine what it would be, but it's on the bridge.
Can we see sea level with the bridge?
You can see sea level where you are. The bridge is a bit higher than where you are.
Anybody ever seen anything like that before?
Not me.
May want to get a little closer and see what it looks like up closer.
I think maybe we should find new clothes. These a little bit probably out of sorts for the locals looking at us.
Yeah.
Breaking out of
those
the jail.
escaped convicts.
A little bit.
We could go back and strip the dead guards.
Yeah, we could.
Well, there's gotta be a clothing store nearby, right?
We gotta walk to it in our prison outfit, don't we? And
See anyone.
you got lots of money in your pocket, I assume.
Perhaps.
Why you say that?
Because they don't give away clothes.
Oh, you're talking about actually buying stuff.
Yeah.
No wonder you're not on a first name basis. I check my pockets every now and then.
Well, I don't think anybody would mind if he came and just took their clothes. After all, we did escape from so.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're already,
regardless.
we're already convicts, so.
Yeah, might as well get ourselves into a deeper hole, I guess. All right.
Wait. We're not confined right now, and I'm certainly not looking to go back in a hurry. I don't know about doing something as stupid as stealing some clothes, but all we gotta do is go back and dig through Alcatraz and strip a few of them bodies.
Well, I for one ain't looking forward to going back to the island again.
Me neither.
Yeah, how about this? What I propose is that we find a little place that, a little boutique or something, unisex or something like that. Why don't... Funny, right?
Unisex boutique.
What
Okay,
makes
I'm with you.
It's in New York. I don't know about where you come from, the bayou or whatever. Well, I'll distract the cashier or whoever's there. I got some tricks up my sleeve, and you guys grab some clothes. Just grab me something like kaleidoscopy, and I'll be good to go.
Joe looks out and he's like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take off my shirt. See, the pants can come from a lot of places.
So what you all are wearing is a jumpsuit. So it's one piece, but you do have like an undershirt.
Ah. And Joe would, at that point, unzip and tie the arms of the, the top of the jumpsuit around his waist. There.
What color are the jumpsuits?
Light blue.
It's not terrible.
Are there any insignias on the jumpsuits, or is it just like plain?
On the very back of the jumpsuit, everybody's suit says N, like Nancy, .A, .E, .A, dot. And then underneath that, it says A block. And then it has a word on it. You can only assume it was some sort of designation for each of you while you were there. Joe's says static. James, yours says Gilly. Jerry, yours says Midas. And Penny says Umbra.
What would these mean?
Probably relate to some of the new things that apparently we can do. I don't know if you've been experimenting.
Maybe. I haven't been trying. I don't want to fiddle with that.
Maybe you should.
You know what? Why don't we try out that clothing store?
You got it. No, Midas, how about you go open that door there?
Always have to open a door for a lady.
I don't see no ladies, but alright. I see static over there, that's about it.
Well,
Good laugh.
then I'll open a door for my friends who don't even tell me their names.
So Gilly's gonna focus really hard on trying to like harness his power. He's like gonna squeeze his eyes and just try tightening his grip. And
All right, why don't you roll your power, POW-blending.excellent on your... You managed to do it a couple times by accident while you were in Alcatraz, just when you were startled. So you focus and your palms are sweaty and everything being different here. You're real nervous and you don't manage it. Now the way powers work in here is generally you can keep rolling and trying. It only matters so much when time is of the essence. So for instance, roll again.
he's gonna try one last time.
Nope. You sit and you spend probably about 20 seconds focusing, and you look at your arms as you're doing so, and you can see some color shifting. Your arms take on a mottled appearance, but all the chatter going on around you is kind of distracting, and you're not able to accomplish what you did by accident in Alcatraz.
How would you guys stop talking? James yelled.
I'm sorry, are you having performance anxiety?
I am actually.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, maybe you can perform on the way. How about that?
Fine.
So why don't you give me one more roll as you guys exit the building, James? Still aren't quite getting it. So you guys exit the building and looking up and down the boardwalk. Most of these places are boarded up or they have the windows smashed out. Why don't each of you give me, this is just kind of a luck chance, so just roll a D100. Let's see, there should be a D100 roll button even. All right, Gilly, as you're walking by, you come to a place that looks like maybe it was once one of those touristy beach shops where people buy like beach bum t-shirts and things that say, I visited San Francisco and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. You know, that sort of a place, flip-flop joint. And most of the stuff is gone or damp or, you know, useless, but you do find a few articles of clothing in there that are wearable.
Hey guys, I don't think it matters what we're wearing. Places we must be in a bad
Yeah,
neighborhood.
this looks like this looks pretty bad.
Hmm. Yeah, with the boarded up stuff. I don't know. I'd still rather wear something else than a jumpsuit.
Yeah, these little acronyms on my back don't make me feel good.
I haven't seen any officers yet, but I'm assuming they would take notice of these suits.
You do manage to find probably at least one t-shirt that would roughly fit each of you. They're garish and touristy, like I said, but, you know, they would not be jumpsuits.
Is there any shorts or pants or anything?
There's no pants for sure. There's some bathing suit cover-ups.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm fine with my undershirt. And like I said, tying around the pants works just fine for me. You all can help yourself with that touristy stuff.
And Penny kind of goes around. She puts on one of the crappy t-shirts, scours around for a crappy little pair of plastic sunglasses, slides them on. She smiles and gives a thumbs up to the other three.
Ah, now I feel like I'm really in San Francisco, wearing cheap shit.
Yeah, looks like you might fit right in.
I'm like a local.
You
Yeah.
guys,
Jared wants to grab one of those t-shirts too.
sure. You've got one. It's tie-dyed, and it's got a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge on the back.
Damn
James
hippies.
specifically looks for a like one of those typical Baja like California look, like the tie-dye, like Hawaiian shirts, I should say.
Oh yeah, you can find a Hawaiian style shirt.
He also puts on the most typical San Francisco Giants hat on.
You can probably manage to find one of those too. Everything smells a little musty, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Smells like home.
Exactly. You guys had to walk a bit on the boardwalk before you found this place, and it's brought you a little closer to the Golden Gate area. And every now and then you do catch some sounds, not the sounds of vehicles. As a matter of fact, that's one thing that you start to realize is you haven't heard a single vehicular sound since you've been here. And the road up the embankment from the boardwalk is pretty close. But you do hear just occasionally what you would think of as the murmur, the susurrus of people sounds.
Do we tell people that we're here? Like, how sneaky should we be?
Oh, I think if we're gonna be, sorry, sneaking around, I mean, this is looking a little bit suspicious. Maybe if we run into people, we can, be casual about it. But I wouldn't go, crouching round.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Rob us? You got any money on you?
They could
Perhaps.
stab us.
I mean, yeah, they could stab us, but like, okay, sorry, it was just a dumb question. My bad.
Don't apologize. Your friends don't need it. Your enemies don't deserve it.
James nods and says, "Yeah, okay." James starts to like wander ahead of the group, seeing like what's around the. Are we heading anywhere specifically right now, or are we just kind of wandering the board
I think towards the bridge.
towards the bridge?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is it okay if James like runs up, like not runs, but like starts pacing himself faster than everyone else to see like what's ahead?
Sure. James puts a little bit of distance between you guys. I mean, not so much that you can't see each other or shout to each other, but he's a little bit ahead. You guys come to... I'm sorry.
With these people.
Hold on just a second. Sorry, I shouldn't have switched you so quick.
It's okay.
Hey, look at those dogs.
Thanks.
See dog poop on the ground.
Gross.
What you do see there is a better look at the bridge and the building underneath it. Would any of you have had any reason to ever be in San Francisco before?
Maybe once for concert.
Negative. I'm an East Coaster.
Well,
Yeah, I
would
think
Wes-
there's some training that my guy would have gone through probably out that way.
Okay. Well, people that have been here to San Francisco know that things, now that you're closer, are definitely different. There's kind of a little image to the right of this bridge, because I couldn't really fake one up too well. But on top of the bridge, you see basically cargo containers stacked and stacked and stacked into this haphazard village on top of the bridge. Under the bridge is an old-looking brick building, and you see some people wandering around down there talking. And on top of the bridge, you see a lot of traffic going back and forth. Traffic as in walking traffic, not really vehicular traffic.
Alright, do they appear to have any, like, dangerous, equipment?
It's hard to tell. Why don't you roll me a reason check?
Okay.
Not that you can tell, but you can't really make out a lot of detail.
Alright. So, James says, "Hey, I think they're just people." I whispered to the group,
Yeah?
like, they don't look like bad people or good people.
Jimbo, you saying they don't look like us?
Yes.
That's good. They're minus the prison uniforms, at least.
Like, I don't see any weapons on them, or I don't know. They just look like people.
Maybe we can ask him what the fuck that is.
She kind of points up towards the stacked housing on the bridge.
Yeah,
I ain't
like,
seen that.
that's kind of weird.
Man, this lack of traffic is, kind of concerning.
You guys do pass some vehicles now that you're getting closer that are parked here at this little jetty, this little wharf. And most of them have flat tires, cracked windows, rusted up. Don't look like they've been used in quite a long time. There's a little road that leads from the building that's under the bridge up the embankment. It looks like it goes toward, the ramp onto the bridge. And you can see some people headed that way. 2 figures.
I try to look and see if I can identify the latest model car and figure out what year it is if I can. Or maybe just look at the license plate, see the latest issued little sticker on the plate.
Mm-hmm. I think we determined last time that the last license plate that said expired in 2033.
And 2020 is when I remember last being awake before this.
Sometime between 2020 and 2023, something like that.
So, Wait, do you, never mind, sorry.
If you got a question, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, if this was easily identifiable by all of us, or just by Jerry.
Well, if you see someone looking at something, you can always go look too.
Okay.
Yeah, you see your companion staring at some license plates, kind of kneeling down by the ground and a concerned look on his face.
James approaches him and says, "What you looking at?"
Just checking the tags. I don't remember the last 13 years, maybe it's only 11.
13.
And that's when this was issued. It doesn't look like it's been driven in a while. He may have been down for 20 years.
You gotta be kidding me.
I hope I am, son. I hope I am.
Those figures have gotten closer. The path from the building up the embankment to the bridge brings them pretty close to where you guys are. Close enough that, Penny, you recognize one of them.
Penny stops for a moment. She's kind of squinting over at what Midas and Gilly are looking at before looking up to the woman approaching with the slick back, black hair. Her eyes kind of light up. Smile widens across her face as she kind of rips off the glasses from her face. Mia! Oh my god! She
Mia's
starts...
eyes
Okay.
get big as you call out to her. She gives a nervous look over towards Rodrigo, and an awkward smile towards you.
Oh, is that a friend of yours?
No, not someone I know personally. I think it's someone my sister knew. Let me go talk to her real quick. I'll be right back.
Are you sure you do not... I'd be happy to accompany you, but we must be quick. The drop, it happens soon.
Real quick conversation. Don't worry.
At this point, Penny's kind of running over towards Mia with arms outstretched. Oh my god!
She kind of walks away a bit from Rodrigo and puts her hands in the air. I think you have me confused with my sister. I'm Esme, not Mia.
And Penny kind of slows down. Arms go back to her sides. He rubs the back of her head with left hand. I didn't know you had a sister.
Yeah, twin sister. I heard about you, but I don't think it's me that you know. And she's looking at you directly, and you can kind of, if you're good at reading body language and facial expressions, she's kind of making that face of like go along with it.
Yeah, you get... This is... I'm sorry, why does this say Juliet? I must have put the wrong name on that. You know this is Mia. And you get that for some reason she wants you to call her Esme.
And Penny kind of pierces her lips, raises her eyebrows. I got you now. Esme, it's nice to meet you. I hope that your sister's got nothing but nice things to say about me.
It's been a while since I've talked to her, but yeah, I remember hearing really good things.
I'm glad, and if you introduce me to your friend over there, I'll introduce you to mine.
Of course. And I'm gonna look kind of at their necks, see what tribe they're in, or if they're not in a tribe and they may be like me.
Yeah, they have no marks on their necks. As a matter of fact, I mean, you didn't notice at first because most of them are wearing some colorful touristy t-shirts, but the bottoms are definitely those jumpsuits that you were wearing in Alcatraz.
Okay. She's gonna nod. All right, all right. Um, Rodrigo, this is Penny. Penny, Rodrigo. Uh, Rodrigo's the leader of the Mooney tribe here on, um, I
Cisco.
have, yeah, Cisco. Um, Penny's a friend of my sister's.
Ah, is your sister by any chance as lovely as you are? If so, I would love to make her acquaintance.
We're twins, but I think I ended up the more graceful and beautiful one. If we'll just keep that between us.
Well, could a family be so blessed twice? I think not. Penny and this Latin-looking man walks over. He takes your hand and bends over it. And I am Rodrigo. I lead the Muni here in Cisco. I accompany your sister's friend to the Bridger Stacks. Soon there will be the supply drop, and I must be there. And he looks at all of you, giving you a once-over. He seems to be paying particular attention to your necks. I see you have no tribe. And he looks over at Esme, or Mia. He knows her as Esme.
They're with me, and she's gonna kind of wink at him.
So, what you say is true. You can get people in and out of Cisco. This idea seems to get him even more excited. Well, any friend of Esme's is a friend of mine. But here in Cisco, everyone is marked by tribe, and you will stand out and perhaps be in danger if anyone notices. And he indicates his own neck. And you see there a tattoo that looks like that.
And I think leans in closer, looking at the tattoo, looking it over. Oh shit. So we're in Crisco Place. What the fuck is going on exactly?
He furrows his brows. I do not understand your question, young lady. We go to the supply drop for the residents of Cisco. We receive every week. There may be someone suitable in the supply drop, someone who is not so crazy. We have to take them to the Badlands.
The Badlands.
Penny is just nodding, but has a kind of a raised eyebrow, like she's a little bit weirded out by the whole thing and slightly confused and very much judgmental of what Rodrigo's saying.
James just like stares like deadpan and says, "What the fuck has happened to this place?"
Listen,
Oh,
I
yes.
thought Mia explained all this to you. Sorry, Rodrigo. Let
This
me.
looks like Mad Max. What?
Is it all right if they come with us? I'll explain some stuff to them on the way, get them caught up. They're new to Cisco still. They don't understand what's going on.
Oh, of course, there is always an adjustment period here for all new residents. I'm sure it is a shock to anyone who has not seen, the city since it became Cisco, the colony. Uh, mhm. I will walk ahead just a step or two, and you may, have your discussion with your friends. But he gives you a wink. Don't go too far.
Of course. I'll be right behind you. Uh, Listen, we're on a time, we're on a schedule. We need to get moving. Um, you four come with us. I'll explain some stuff on the way.
Uh, Rodrigo takes that silk scarf off of his neck and reaches back and he says, for the lovely young lady with the blue hair, at least I can help with this.
Oh,
Aren't you a charming one, Penny? I'll take the scarf and dramatically kind of throw it over her neck. Matches my glasses. And she'll put those back on her face.
The rest of you, do what you can to be inconspicuous. Perhaps a collar up or something.
Oh.
He says, but not to worry, I'm an important man. Anyway, and he moves ahead and gives you a little wave.
There's tribes. What has happened? I'm just.
Esme, when are we? When is this, Esme?
Wait, where, when, what happened?
Okay, shut the fuck up. She kind of looks over her shoulder towards Rodrigo, making sure that he's far enough away that she can talk without him hearing everything that she's saying.
He wouldn't be able to hear everything. He'd probably catch some of it if you were talking normally.
Nah, she's gonna try to be a little quieter. I don't have in my notes, what year is it currently? 2040 something?
2030. It's 2039.
2039. Got it. All right. Penny, good to see you again. Yes, it's me, but it's not me. I'm just kind of like doing an undercover thing right now. Follow me. And she's gonna start walking. What are your names?
According to my thing, I'm Gilly.
Well, that's the name that was on your suit anyway, yeah.
He's not
I'm
a Gilly,
inmate
actually.
2023.
Okay.
2023.
Do you have a real name?
I got beaten for telling my real name. That's Jerry Dale Bridges.
I'm James.
Yeah, you can call me Joe.
Jerry, James, Joe, and Penny. Lots of J's.
looks like it.
We weren't given an opportunity to plan it that way.
Yeah. I guess not. Are you guys from Alcatraz? Or outside of town?
Alcatraz. We, look up there.
Please stop coughing on my shoulder.
I'm sorry, you want me to cough on someone else's shoulder? You got such big
my.
shoulders.
Cough on that damn scarf you got.
And get you a lozenge.
Have you been awake for long?
What has it been?
Maybe
Gilly.
3 hours.
Couple of hours? Think so.
And have you found anything different about yourselves?
I can turn invisible, or I can like bend reality. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's very weird.
Okay. And the rest of you?
You're gonna find this one kind of funny, but I believe I've turned into a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer.
Can you speak English?
Yeah, I did not understand that.
Well, I think I can turn things into other elements.
That's pretty cool.
Ooh, can you turn something into gold?
Yes, he
Haven't
can.
tried yet.
That's why I
Got
need
something you want me to try it with?
Oh, these glasses.
And she'll
Yeah.
take the glasses off her face and give it to him.
Don't know if I can do this, but I'll give it a shot.
All right. That's 69. It's a lot of different substances on the glasses, but you turn the frames to what looks like gold.
Oh, we can sell it. Does gold have value here?
Maybe. I can manipulate shadows and shit.
That's
Shadows.
What does that mean?
Oh, let's see if I can. I've been kind of playing with it. Let's see if I can. Give me a static. Actually, stay there.
She's gonna attempt to.
Wow.
Oh,
Freak. Okay, tell me what you were trying to do.
So mostly she was just trying to kind of make his shadow kind of operate on its own and showing something different than he was doing. How much control do I have over it?
Absolute control with 97, and it also has some, substantiveness to it. Like it can interact.
Oh, with like the world?
Yeah.
So she's gonna have Static Shadow reach out and kind of grab Gilly by the leg and trip him.
You feel something grab hold of your leg and yank, Gilly.
Wow, you gotta be kidding me.
okay. Sorry. Yeah, he fall. How'd you do? What? What was that? What?
I told you.
So Gilly gets up and he's just like a ninja pose, ready to fight the shadow or whatever, throw him down.
Well, I don't know if you want to do that. I'm pretty sure I can give you an ass kick in there.
Gilly is going to slowly lower his pose. He's like, okay, you're okay. Don't do that. Don't do that on me, please.
I'll attempt. What about you, Joe?
Well, do you want me to show you, or do you want me just to tell you? It seems like
Please,
it's
demonstrate.
a demonstrate. All right, and he'll kind of look over at Umbra there and Penny. Well, let me know how it goes, how you feel. And he's
Careful,
gonna,
I still got your shadow.
you do. And he's gonna try to paralyze her.
All right. Roll your ability. All right. So that's a 61, which even if I lower because she's if she was moving or whatever, let's see, why don't you? Yeah, you weren't expecting it or anything. So Penny, you feel your muscles, or you don't know what it is, but suddenly you just seize up and you can't move. You can't even blink.
And Joe's quickly gonna stop.
What the fuck?
I've been experimenting with the rats. You know, it's a little different, a little harder. But
Yeah, don't fucking do that again, or I'm gonna have the shadow fucking impale you through the goddamn chest.
you said you wanted to see.
Yeah, I didn't
Lady
want to.
okay.
Ah, fuck.
Well,
I gotta try now. So James closes his eyes. Should I roll the?
Yeah, you gotta roll it.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was waiting for the command. So.
Oh.
Okay, well this time you do it, and you do a good job. This is a yellow success. So
Yeah.
James is standing, near one of the cars, and suddenly, I mean, you see him. 1 minute he's just kind of like changing color to the same kind of like weird teal of this car, and then suddenly you can't see him at all. It's a very quick transition.
Whoa.
Yeah, go on.
I'm like an iguana. Like
Ready.
those guys in Vietnam, you know. So I stopped doing it.
Yeah, he kind of shimmers back into the normal field of vision.
All right, all right.
That's
All this is great and all, but this shit still isn't normal. Even in 2039. Try to keep that on the down low. If you really trust somebody or you need to use it, by all means, go for it. But I'm still not even entirely sure what the fuck is going on. Apparently San Francisco has turned into this large prison base called Cisco. People are dropped off here and they're either accepted and put into a tribe that serves different purposes, or they're cast out into the wastelands in the wild, which I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
Who drops them off?
I don't know, but we're not normal. We're an outlier in that we have superpowers. I don't fucking know. The Muni are, I think, the medical and like military force a bit. Then there's the water tribe that handles like plumbing and the sewers. I've heard a few other names, but I'm not entirely sure what all the other tribes are right now. So we just need to be careful as we're figuring out more information. Rodrigo, I promised him I would get him out of Cisco, which is why he's being so helpful, but we can't expect that of everybody else. Right now we're going to the bridge for a cargo drop, which is looking at the new potential recruits and seeing if we want to bring any into the Muni tribe.
Is that the cargo, or is there anything else in the cargo?
I think the cargo is mostly just people, but I can't say for sure. Again, I'm new to all this, and I've been trying to let off that I know more than I actually do.
Where do they get their food from?
Couldn't tell you.
Well,
oh fuck.
But yeah, I have some other friends here that I escaped Alcatraz with. Just stick close. They're off further into the city, and I can bring you to them and help you, or we can all work together to figure all this shit out. But right now, I need my cover not to be blown, so that I can keep figuring out information and using the Muni's resources to help us in Cisco, wherever that may lead.
Gotcha. We'll make sure to keep you covered. Esme.
You got a Sharpie?
Nope. What the fuck do you need a Sharpie for?
To draw an upside down, or to draw that M on my neck.
yeah.
Can you convert things into Sharpies? Oh wait, no, that's not an element.
Yeah, it's just real simple, just an element. I can't do compounds or anything more complex.
Oh, I
Can you not make a fucking M appear on your neck just using your camouflage shit, or does it not work like that?
I don't think.
I might be able to turn something into something that's black, but that might be giving you cancer on your neck for that.
Is gunpowder an element? What's the gunpowder? Is that a compound or an element? I asked him.
Gunpowder is
That's a compound.
compound.
Okay. Oh, that's right, it is. James says, smacking his head.
So you guys are behind Rodrigo, but you're making your way up the embankment, and during this conversation, you've kind of gone around the bend and are approaching the bridge. Rodrigo turns around and he says, "So sorry to interrupt, but we arrive, and if I were you, I would stay very close. Mm, I would say this is not a good idea, but what is a worse idea is wandering around Cisco without me. So, welcome to Bridger Stacks." And I'm going to take us to that page. So, you guys step onto the bridge and you see cargo containers stacked on cargo containers stacked on cargo containers stacked on cargo containers. Up and up and up. Beyond the cargo containers, you see a wall that's dividing the bridge. It's about 30 feet high and you can't see beyond it. You see people walking here and there. There seems to be kind of a general air of excitement. Most people don't really give you a second glance. A lot of these places appear to be perhaps shops, something like that. You can see people doing business here and there, some on the street and some in the shops.
What are they selling in the shops?
Depends on where you're looking. There's one shop that you are passing that you peek in and you see a jumble of, wires, batteries and boxes, maybe some small electronics. Another shop is got the entire front open, and it has on tables, it actually has fresh fruit and vegetables. You pass another shop that has clothing of random and varied descriptions on it. There seems to be no rhyme or reason. Other than that, it all looks relatively clean and wearable. Rodrigo turns back and he says, "Quite the place, no? When in the past, when they do a drop, it comes in these," and he points to the cargo container all around you, and he says, "And we unload, and they drop with a crane, and then, like for a joke, they just keep stacking them. Eventually it almost fill up the bridge, and we have to get cranes from the city and move some farther out. I don't know, maybe someone gets in trouble for this joke on us, because now they do not do it. They push the supplies through the wall, and we have only 2 hours to unload before they take it back in."
It's pretty impressive. As we're all kind of walking through this area and walking past these abandoned cars and these shops and these people, you'll notice that Esme is being very careful to not touch anything or anyone, giving everybody kind of as wide a berth as she can, just so that she's not noticed kind of walking through something. But so, are we just going over to the gate on the other side of the bridge, or?
We go to the wall, and as you guys are making your way through, people are shouting out greetings to Rodrigo almost constantly. He seems to not have exaggerated his importance or renown, at least among these people. Some people are friendly. Some people seem almost fawning. But he dismisses them all as quickly as he can, trying to just move through the crowd. As you get closer, you see people moving out onto balconies and talking rather animatedly. You see some money passing hands here and there as if there's some sort of a wager going on.
What kind of money?
That's a good question. It's not paper money, but you hear clinking. You're assuming it's some sort of coin. This is mostly happening in doorways and the balconies. You haven't really gotten a good glimpse of it. Up ahead is a small group of people that are clustered around the wall. And I'm going to put them on the token layer so you can see them. Rodrigo moves forward and raises his hand, and some of them wave back kind of distractedly. He says, "These are the other representatives here, so from the other tribes." As he gets closer, one of them, Lena, moves to the front and crosses her arms over her chest. And she says, "Rodrigo, where's that shipment that I've been expecting for 2 weeks?" And he says, we rely on the vultures to bring us the supplies that we need in order to make the ammunition, and it just takes time. It's taking more time than expected." And she just kind of snorts. And the darker-skinned man with the long hair looks toward Lena and says, "It is becoming more difficult to scavenge these things, the shells and casings and what the materials we need. We have to go further and further out." And he just shrugs. One person is obviously in charge, and it's the woman named Jen, and she is issuing orders to a group of men in a building nearby. And Rodrigo says, "I hope I have not kept you waiting, Jen." And she says, "No, the drop, it's actually a little late." And she says, looking at a watch on her wrist, "But that's a good thing, right? I've got the mules ready. I think everything will go pretty smoothly." And she looks behind you at the group of people. She says, "Why so many people?" And he just says, they just wanted to breathe the fresh air here on the bridge." And Jen moves forward and says, "Hi, I'm Jen. I don't recognize any of you all," but she shrugs. "There's a lot of us here."
Nice to meet you, Jen. I'm Penny.
You notice that Jen has a tattoo on her neck that does not match Rodrigo's. I'll show you guys that in just a second. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the tattoo that Lena has on her neck. As a matter of fact, as you are looking at their necks, you see each of them has a different one, and I'll show you what. Can you guys all see the handout?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lena has the one on the upper left that looks kind of like a wrench, maybe a plumber's wrench. And Rodrigo has the M. Alfonso has the T. Hoki'i has the strange-looking V. Jen has the upside-down V with a line going through it. And Harrison has the hexagon. No one here has the other one. That's one that you guys haven't seen yet, the M with the jagged edge. So that'll be in your handouts if you need to look at it later.
Got it.
Penny kind of looks them all over and nods. Yeah, it's real refreshing up here.
I love the air.
It's definitely a different kind of view.
Jen smiles and says, yeah, well, it's the closest thing to civilization we've got here. You'll have to forgive me. Things are about to get a little hairy here. I don't know if you've ever been here for a drop, but it's a little hectic.
Hey, we're kind of excited to see for all this, you know? On this side, anyway.
Yeah, well, it sure gets all of us excited here, you know. More to go around for everyone. Well, such that it is. Okay, well, don't feel like you need to pitch in. The mules kind of have their system here, and frankly, you'd just get in the way.
No worries, well, probably just watch.
Okay.
Oh, I know you want to help, man.
A group of about 8 men and women come out of one of the buildings. You know, they're not dressed in any particular uniform or any way, but they all have the same tattoo as Jen does. And they line up in front of the wall, and suddenly you hear a loud whistle kind of start at the wall, and it kind of gets passed from person to person down the street till, you know, it reaches the end of the bridge, as if everyone's being alerted that something's about to happen. And the wall starts to part in the center, you know, kind of, it's not like an accordion style, it's just like a sliding portion of it slides to one side, hydraulically or something. You can't tell what the mechanical part of it is. It's happening from whatever is controlling it is happening from the other side of the wall. And through this opening, a cargo container, the short end first, is shoved through, and it barely fits through the opening that the wall provides. These men that Jen's been calling the mules rush forward, and they open the latch on the door to the cargo container and swing it open. And they start forming a sort of assembly line style, panning packages out of it. 4 of them do. The other 4 go in to the cargo container, and they come out dragging a larger box with them. You can hear it screeching on the metal bottom of the cargo container as they drag it out.
Midas
also,
is looking for any labels or anything that has any writing on it.
sure, the cargo container does have writing on it. It has in stenciled paint letters, very similar to your uniforms. N.A.E.A. Um, as well as most of the packaging that is coming out of the cargo containers. Um, the group of leaders seems most concerned right now with the box that was brought out of the box. They move forward and sort of huddle around as the latch on that one is opened, and it swings open, and Jen pokes her head in, and then jumps out very suddenly and slams the door and latches it. But before she's able to, two people come tumbling out of it. And I'll show you what they look like. They're wearing what are obviously prison uniforms, but they are anything but clean. They are covered from head to toe in what looks like blood and gore. And they spill out of the container, one right after the other, breathing hard, but determined not to get locked in there again. And Jen shouts, somebody hold them down. Someone's gone native. And the men look around confused, but some of the mules jump on them and are just thrown off. They're not trying to make a run for anywhere. They look around, not knowing what to do or where to go. One of them picks up a just a scrap piece of metal that's lying near a building and starts brandishing it. And the other one backs away from the man he was in the container with and holds up his arms, and it's Walt. And he says, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the other guy." And he points to the other guy.
What the fuck?
What does going native mean?
Why are they covered in blood?
Rodrigo says, um, uh, calm down, everyone. We will get to the bottom of this. You need to put down your weapon. There are many more people here than you. You do not want to cause trouble." But the guy says, "Look, it wasn't me. I'm not going to let this be pinned on me." And Jen says, "There was someone else in the cargo container, but she is way dead."
There was 3 people in there. In total before it was closed.
Yeah. And yeah, she is, and she peeks in, and then she pulls her head out, and she's holding her breath, and it looks like she's struggling not to gag.
Okay. Jerry wants to take a look as best he can from where he is at the blood spatter on the two of them, if he can figure out anything from that, which of them was the one who was closer when it occurred, or if there's obvious spatter on one or the other, or both.
Why don't you roll an intuition? No, a reason. This would be a reason. So they are both so covered, it's really, really hard to tell.
Okay.
I think we're going to give Sim a chance to see if he can reconnect.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, there I am.
So were you trying to jump in there?
Well, I missed a portion of the conversation. I was
Okay.
like, everybody's so quiet. So,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Where did you lose? Where did you lose the conversation?
I got third person in there, and uh, I think that's it.
Okay. So Jerry was trying to figure out, just by looking at the blood splatter, who maybe had more on them, maybe who had been closer to whatever action happened to that box, and he just couldn't make it out. They were too covered, both of them.
Okay. So and obviously the guy holding the steel thing is the one everybody wants to calm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other guy is kind of backing away. Walt is backing away from Mike. They've got name tags on their prison uniforms, which look somewhat different from yours. You can eventually make it out despite the blood spatter.
All right, and then Anime, when she leans over and whispers to me, I could try. And he's gonna look at the guy with the hold and the weapon and try to cause him to spasm.
Okay, let's have the roll. Well, you see the guy kind of twitch, but nothing happens.
It worked on the rats. I don't. He's kind of like dumbfounded a little bit and trying to think where he went wrong.
Penny kind of focuses on the container itself. The door's open right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she kind of looks inside, squints a bit, tries to grasp the shadows inside. And
So your attention and focus kind of shifts from what you're seeing all around you to the inside of the cargo container. You can tell that there's no light inside there other than what's coming. Are you looking in the little box?
where the guys came out of.
Yeah, the smaller box.
Yeah.
It's dark in there. I mean, there's light coming in from outside, but it doesn't seem to be causing you any trouble. You can still somehow make out everything that's inside. You see a crumpled form. Inside the box, it looks like there's a very narrow bench on three sides of the box, and maybe a place for each person to sit during however long they're in there. The place smells really bad, not just like blood and gore, but like sweat and just nasty. I mean, maybe they were in there for a while, but crumpled on the ground near one of the sides of the box is a form, and you can tell that it's female. You creep some of the shadows closer to the form, and you're able to see that she's been just mauled, maybe bitten, and neck, arms, torso, or clothes shredded. Her fingernails are all kind of torn off, maybe in self-defense. Who knows? But it's a mess.
Penny kind of pulls back, blinks a bit, looks down, pinches her nose, the bridge, the left hand, before picking her head back up, looking at the two.
I just telling them to take off their shirts. At least one of them did a number on her, and whichever one it was, I'm pretty sure she fought back based on the amount of blood in these two.
Rodrigo says, how do you know these?
I, used to be a private investigator.
Oh, I see. Well, you two, take off your shirts. We need to know which of you is guilty of this terrible crime. We may all be convicts here, but we are trying to be civilized. This is not allowed. Um, okay. Walt says, "Look, okay, I'll do it, but you gotta know it wasn't just her. You know, I was trying to keep him off her." And he starts unbuttoning the top of his jumpsuit and pulling it down, and um, there's bruising on his face and also on his body, maybe some scratches. And Mike says, "Look, I'm not letting this get pinned on me, and I'm not putting this down. This guy, you can't trust him. He was crazy in there. I don't know what happened. It's like he saw a woman and it just flipped a switch on him and he just went completely nuts."
Well, if he's the one that we can't trust, you're saying that we can trust you, then you better take off your shirt there, or else we're gonna be blaming this on you.
I'm not saying that I'm an angel. You know, I was in the joint just like the rest of yous, but and he starts backing away from Walt. It's him you got to worry about.
It's looking like you right now. You're the one with the weapon.
What do you know? Shut up, you bluehead bitch.
All right,
Me?
that's enough. Esme's gonna step up and pull out her gun, pointing it at the two of them. Lift up your shirts right fucking now.
All right, why don't you do a personality roll?
Great, I have such a strong personality. Do you mean
You got like 100
popularity?
I'm sorry, yeah, popularity. I keep saying that instead of popularity. Okay.
There's like a
You
system where I
get a
can.
bonus for having the gun, but yeah, you can spend karma points. Let's use this as a good example for that. So everybody has karma points, and that's if you click on your character, the number you start with is in the blue box. If you want, you can spend those points to push a roll. So, for instance, she rolled 42, which is in the white, which is a failure. But if she gets it up to the green, that's a success. And she can spend as many of those points as it takes to get it up to the next success level.
So in this case, if I spend 4, it'll be 46 and it'll be green.
Right, so just subtract those from your karma points. So she just seems to tap into a little well of willpower and puts a little more force into her voice. And as she levels the gun at Mike, he drops the piece of metal he's holding. And he says, all right, but I don't know what you think you're going to see here. And he unbuttons the top of his uniform too, and you can see bruising and blood and quite a few scratches. His neck is scratched up too. Looks like maybe he busted his lip in there as well.
So both of them are pretty scratched up?
Mike's probably more scratched up. Alfonso says he's a big guy, really big. And he says, look, I hate to waste it, but maybe we should just throw them both out in the Badlands. We can't have a real crazy here. It's hard enough to keep things civilized.
Might be the best way.
Harrison says, well, I don't know. We're getting fewer and fewer drops that are doing us any good. I hate to waste it if one of them actually has any skills that we could use here. Mike says, look, I'm a smart guy. I didn't go to college or nothing, but I'm good with my hands. I helped out in my dad's shop. I could probably get some of these cars running for you. And Walt's like, no, you can't keep him here. He's a danger to everyone. And Walt's kind of backing up against a wall. Jen starts calling for the mules. She says, I don't know what we're going to do here. Guys, go find some rope.
Walt is the one that keeps backing up, right?
Yeah.
Walt, it doesn't really sound like you're wanting to defend yourself at all.
Look, I don't know what to say. I tried to help that lady, but this guy is like, I don't know. It's going to sound like I'm just copying what he said.
Which one was it that was mentioned as having lost it once he saw the woman?
Mike said that's what Walt did.
Esme's gonna step a little bit closer. A bit of or she's gonna try to have a bit of a seductive look in her eye. So, you get nervous about ground girls? Is that it?
Is he saying that to Walt?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I mean, I've been in prison for probably the past 3 years, but I'm not like, I'm nervous now. Yeah. Look, I don't know what you guys are talking about, Badlands or whatever, but this is the guy you should be looking at. You need to be careful. Lady, you need to stay away from him.
Maybe it's you that I need to stay away from. And she's gonna take another step. She's watching his body language, really wanting to see how he's reacting and if there are any like notes of a violent tendency as she's kind of like getting closer.
Why don't you roll your intuition? He seems to be looking at your gun a lot. And he does seem very nervous.
Alright, what if I and she's gonna put the gun back in the holster and raise her hands up. That make you feel a little more comfortable? Are you still feeling nervous?
He lets out a breath and he says, yeah, that's a little better, but maybe you better bring that back out and point it at that guy. And as he says that, you notice that Mike's been following your movement, and as you let the gun down, he is charging at you, trying to grab it.
She's gonna try to jump out of the way and stay away from him if she can.
All right. So we'll use our first combat mechanic here. So what
A.
you're trying to do is evade. Dodge is actually only for ranged attacks, so evade uses your fighting ability.
Ah!
Oh! Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
Aggressive, right?
she evades like crazy. Do you have any martial arts? Did you take one of those talents? I think you did.
I don't think I did.
No? No. Okay. I was thinking that you took one. Maybe I was thinking of Phantasma. Um, but it looks like you know martial arts because as he comes forward, you see him out of the corner of your eye, and at the very last minute, just with the grace of a cat, you twist to one side, and he tumbles past you and lands on the ground.
All right, he's the asshole. Throw him back out.
Mike's. Is anybody going to do anything? Otherwise, I'm going to tell you what Mike's going to be doing. If anyone wants to jump in, you got to tell me and actually jump in. So it's up to you.
Yeah, Penny's going to, if he tries to get back up, she's going to attempt to have, as sly as she can, have the shadow try to keep him down, like his own.
I'm gonna try like going camo again and try to like, I guess, flank him and make sure that if he does try like running away, I can.
Okay, go for it.
Rip.
Hey, it works.
Uh,
Not as perfectly invisible, like as you're moving, you can catch just barely, people can catch kind of a shimmer, but no one here would be looking for that for sure. So James disappears and sort of, and strides up to Mike as he's getting ready to rise up. Anybody else?
Yeah, I rolled an 87 for...
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to see
Yeah.
if anybody else is doing anything at the
Yeah, no
same
worries.
time.
Jerry will step up next to the mayor just so he's close to him.
Okay.
That-
And Sim, are you going to do anything, or are you just going to be holding back?
No, I lost the audio, but yes. No, I keep pushing around my mute button. No, he's gonna hang back because he doesn't want to expose too much at the moment.
Got it.
Getting under control.
Okay, so let's see. Why don't both Penny and James roll an initiative just so I see who kind of goes first.
Initiative. There it is. Oof. Actually, yeah, D10.
Yeah, it's at a D10. I'm having trouble finding it. Everything on the is in alphabetical order up in the.
What else did they go? Sorry.
James, you need to roll initiative.
Oh yeah, sorry. My mic cut out for like 2 minutes. I heard Penny and then someone else. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Penny is trying to do something. Okay, so Penny goes first.
Sorry about that. My mic completely turned.
No, that's fine. Penny, you reach out with a nearby shadow and tell me exactly what you're trying to do with it.
So basically, because he's kind of tripped and fallen, so kind of a nearby, maybe shadow of a building or something, kind of slowly extend it, almost so it's kind of looming almost over the man, over his legs, and she's going to attempt to kind of have like almost try to inflict the pressure as much as she can from like the building itself. If she can inflict kind of weight on the shadow onto his legs to kind of hold him down.
Okay. Are you going to try to hurt him or just hold him?
No, she's gonna try to hurt him.
Okay, roll 1d20.
Oops. Oh no, I did something bad. Okay, one sec. Ooh.
Okay. Um, Mike starts to get up and a shadow falls over him and all the air goes out of him and you hear, James, you being close enough, you hear an audible crunch.
Ooh, I visibly cringe. Well, not visibly, but
He would scream if he could, but like I said, all the air got knocked out of him. And he only manages the briefest whimper and tears start forming in his eyes. He's not dead.
all right. Gilligan's like he decloaks and frantically waves. Whoa, hold on, hold up. You might actually hurt this man.
Everybody sees James just suddenly appear by the man. By now, the mules were running forward with some rope. They were going to try to tie him down, and just in time to see this strange, crushing shadow and James appear out of thin air near Mike, and they stop short for just a second. But Jen motions them forward and says, tie him up, tie him up. And the mule closest to Mike looks down at the rope he's holding and he tosses it to James.
I quickly attempt to grab it, very frantically.
I'm sorry. Can you tell me what?
Oh, yeah, I grabbed the rope. Sorry.
Okay, you grabbed the rope. All right. And
yeah, sorry, I was.
Are you trying to tie him up?
Yes, but I'm gonna be very careful about it and make sure I do not accidentally hurt him.
Get crushed by a shadow?
Yes, I don't want to get crushed by a shadow.
He's gonna lighten that up and look at Rosita. She's looking pretty kind of guilty about
Mike lets out a more audible moan and moves a little more, but he seems unable to actually lift himself up, and you're able to tie his hands without any difficulty. Walt comes forward and he spits at Mike and he says, "You're a fucking animal," and backs up. And all through this, the other 4 mules had been, they didn't stop unloading. They maybe paused for a moment, but Jen urged them to continue. They know that they have a limited amount of time. And as they continue to unload, and Mike is secured, Jen says to Lena, motioning to Walt, "Why don't you take this guy, start asking him, what he can do. We'll get him sorted out. Obviously, Alfonso, this one's a loss," she says, motioning to Mike. "You'll have to send him out with some of yours, throw him out with the garbage." And she looks to the group of you. Rodrigo, I think maybe we should talk in my office with your friends. And Rodrigo looks over to Esme and shrugs. And he says, well, perhaps it is for the best.
Ah, shit. Alright.
Jen comes forward and stands near Rodrigo, arms crossed over her chest, and she starts giving you all a once-over, narrowing her eyes. She looks at Joe particularly, and Jerry, who don't have anything to really cover their necks. She cocks her head, Takes a deep breath.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
She shakes her head and says, not here. Okay, my office. And she starts moving away and heads toward a particular cargo container. And Rodrigo turns to you and says, if I were you, I would listen to this lady.
Aren't you the boss?
He says, I am the leader of the Muni, not of the Bridger stacks. We are here on the bridge. Jen is in charge here.
Should we run then back to the Muni?
He says, well, they know you are here now. I will have to explain things sooner or later. I cannot keep you a secret because you are not a secret. Jen is hard, but you helped with the... And he gestures toward Mike. So I think things will work out. I don't... Just
I
explain
don't even
to
think we
her.
got the right one.
Well, be that as it may, when they go native, they cannot hide it for long. I do not know what it is, but more and more the drops bring us crazy people who cannot keep their rage in check for long. He says, but perhaps you have a point. And he walks over to Alfonso and then gestures toward Walt and says a few things that you can't really make out, and Alfonso nods. And Rodrigo comes back and says, we will keep an eye on him.
Good.
So, are you coming? Or you try to run? And I do not know what you will do out there, to be honest.
I think we should go along at least, for now.
It won't hurt nothing.
Yeah. Oh well.
There goes my cover.
Okay, I'm coming.
Thanks, guys.
Maybe you should have thought about that when you pulled the gun and stepped into the middle of something that wasn't any of our business.
Hey, I was fine. You guys are the ones that messed it up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the one who appeared suddenly.
I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, you're
He
right.
was
James,
fine.
you're the one that messed this up.
Yeah, James. You fucking idiot.
Rodrigo, we can
No, man.
I'm sorry.
we can trust this bitch, right?
You know what I told you about apologizing.
Uh, y- y- I'm not sorry. Yes, I'm not.
There we go.
Look, let's just go. We gotta get there and see what she had.
Rodrigo says, well, as far as trust goes, Jen is good people, as good as people get here in Cisco anyway. And he starts walking toward the office. And as long as you're all going there, I'm going to switch the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So she takes you to a cargo container that's been kind of fitted into an office of sorts. She's got a lot of, you can see that it's been wired for electricity. As a matter of fact, when you see that, you can kind of maybe hear a generator running in back. File cabinets, a few chairs, a desk that she's gotten from somewhere, some agendas and stuff pinned to the wall. One thing that stands out is there's no computers in here. Obviously, whatever work she's doing is being done by hand. She says, come in. I don't have enough seats for everybody, sorry. But shut the door behind you. I'll open a window.
And Penny kind of, she steps in the room, laying against a wall, crossing her arms.
I sit.
Jerry will stand.
Joe's gonna go ahead and go sit down by the window.
Esme just kind of stands in the middle of the room. Somebody want to get the door? I can't really get it.
Yeah,
Close
yeah.
the door.
Oh, you got it. Oh, okay.
Just don't cough on.
And so Jen goes and sits in the chair behind the desk, runs her hands through her hair, kind of shakes her head. Okay, so where the fuck did you come from, and what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm from Alcatraz.
She gives you a hard look. Don't fuck with me, okay? Seriously.
Yeah, it's, fuck, one second. She'll kind of untuck the part of the jumpsuit, the upper part from the pants, the waist, and she'll pull it up, of, showing her the back.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
4 matching sets of those.
She looks at it and she says, so are you with those others that were here earlier? The ones that caused all that trouble?
What?
Nope, these 4 are different. They weren't with those
I'm
2.
not even sure I'm with these 4.
So you guys really, are you serious? You came from Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Fresh from a tunnel.
Yep.
She kind of rubs her chin as if thinking, some people said that they thought that they spotted some things, some movement going on the island. I didn't know what to think. She's the NAEA. Yeah, they kind of run everything. What did they want with you all?
What does NAEA stand for?
She gives you another weird look. Are you joking? Did you hit your head?
I think I did, but remind me.
The North American Eugenics Authority?
Eugenics Authority.
Eugenics is a very interesting title.
Yeah. They're pretty much running the show these days, right? I mean, it's kind of why we're all here. We don't fit the mold. So, does that mean you fit the mold over there, or you don't? She says,
Not exactly sure what the mold really is anymore.
huh. So, you were in an NAEA facility and you didn't know what the NAEA was?
Yep. Nail meets hammer.
Be honest with you, I don't remember much for the last 15, 20 years.
Jen looks at Rodrigo. Are you buying any of this? And Rodrigo shrugs. He says, I do not know exactly what is going on, but you saw for yourself. These people, they are gifted in some way that, we would be foolish to dismiss it or to reject this gift horse, you know. And Jen nods. Well, I would say as long as we could trust them, but, as much as you can trust anyone in Cisco, right? Okay. Are you all the same? You're claiming you can't remember anything from the past 20 years?
Yeah, about 15, 16, 17 for me. I'm not really sure. I just remember being in the clink and then waking up in that place.
And they just let you go?
You could say that.
We kind of found a hole, a tunnel, and we decided to kind of leave.
Escape from Alcatraz. I think there used to be an old movie about that.
Oh, shit.
Well, okay, I'll play along. This is Cisco. This is a prison colony. Right, maybe you caught on to that. You know about the earthquake? She looks, none of you know about an earthquake.
Nah. What earthquake?
So, let's see. Should I start at well, okay, before the earthquake, it was all about, health insurance, I think is where it all started. Didn't used to be very political, so she shrugs. I can't say I have the best grasp on this, but insuring everybody got to be really expensive. I think it was in Canada. They used to be called something else, like the volunteer health initiative or something like that. Anyway, in order to be insured, you had to undergo genetic testing or agree to be sterilized. And it brought healthcare down in Canada. The U.S. adopted a similar system. That organization kind of came over here. And it worked. I mean, you either agreed to their genetic testing and they agreed to insure you as part of the, government mandated insurance, or you agreed to be sterilized, or you didn't agree to anything and you went uninsured. And, with all the viruses and stuff, a lot of people got sick. There were a bunch of riots. A lot of those didn't end up too great. Let's see. It was a while ago. But basically, this group that was managing all the health insurance got quite a bit of political clout. They were pretty popular with a lot of people because, they were making it affordable and it was kind of working. But it was mostly the rich people who could afford the genetic, treatments to kind of perfect their flaws, I guess you'd say, that ended up benefiting from it the most, and a lot of other people were just kind of being sterilized. They eventually ended up also kind of taking over the prison systems, which was another big drain on the economy. And with all the riots and stuff, the prisons were getting full. So their first thing was that they started just freezing everybody, right? Cryogenic sleep. Then that got too expensive and there was more riots about that. So they started opening up some prison colonies. Cisco was one of the first ones. I think we're up to, I don't know. Here in the civilized parts, I think we've got close to 50,000 all told. She looks at Rodrigo and he nods, and then she says, out in the Badlands, probably double that. A lot of us being taken out of sleep, some of us taken out of prison. So, kind of some of us are probably from your generation, although most of us are basically from the here and now. The NAEA just, they're not officially the government, but they kind of are the government. They kind of are the power behind everything these days. And she shrugs. Oh, I guess the other thing that's different is back on, and she gestures toward probably the ocean, back in the regular world. There's now two kinds of people, there's the conformists and then there's the people who don't screw up so bad that they get sent to jail, but obviously aren't like towing the line, the company line. They're starting to open up some, from what I hear from our newest residents, some new places. They call them second-class cities. She shrugs. Anyway, none of that's really relevant over here in Cisco, though. And it doesn't really explain anything about you guys.
And what was this earthquake?
Oh yeah, the earthquake. She smacks her head. I totally forgot about that part. Yeah, it's the reason Cisco got chosen as the first prison colony. There was a big earthquake here, and so the city was basically wrecked. They evacuated the city, everybody but basically the homeless people who they couldn't round up or who wouldn't leave, and decided to let it, since it was already pretty much wrecked, it was a good opportunity to swoop in and experiment with another way of dealing with, us rowdy nonconformists. So yeah, they built a wall all along some of the highway systems down south, and they knocked down the other bridge and kind of built the wall along this bridge, and this is where they do supply drops. Not a lot, I'll tell you. Probably enough to feed what the population was, 5 years ago. If we didn't have the hive growing actual food, we'd be starving. I think they must be dropping supplies over in the Badlands too, because I know that even living on scavenged stuff, it's not enough. They got to be getting it from somewhere. I don't know, maybe a aerial drop. But yeah, that was the earthquake. Wrecked San Francisco.
Holy shit.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, sorry. I know I'm not explaining it real well. Like I said, I'm, back in the day, things are happening and you don't really take much notice or think it's that important. And then, 10 years down the road, bam, you're in a prison colony.
So, if you don't mind me asking, you two seem like nice people. How'd you end up here?
She says, well, let me tell you one thing about Cisco. We don't ask that question. What happened in the old life, it stays there. As long as you can prove yourself capable of kind of maintaining the relative peace and civility that we've managed to establish here, then what you did before, it doesn't matter. She says, I'd like to say that I was a upstanding, wonderful person, but I made my share of mistakes, and that I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha. So, it's
What are you
double
gonna
the...
do with us?
Well, that's a question, isn't it? I wish George was here, but he doesn't really leave the water plant. I don't know, Rodrigo, what do you think? I think the easiest answer is to mark them. And he says, well, that would probably give them the easiest, they could wander around without being constantly under suspicion. And she said, but maybe they should be. I mean, we really don't understand why they're here. And those others that came before them, they caused a lot of trouble.
Keep hearing about these others. Who are these others and where did they go?
They're the ones that messed things up in Alcatraz.
What?
You saw all the bodies, right?
Oh, like all the... Oh, shit, those fuckers.
Yeah, you guys saw a lot of dead bodies in Alcatraz, and some of them were burned, some of them were shot, some of them were beaten, and some of them you couldn't even tell how they died.
Yeah, they
I bet, yeah.
they came across the water and caused some trouble here too before leaving town. At least that's from what I hear.
Yeah, from what I heard, I wasn't there, they went in one of the shops, they talked to the shopkeeper there, who was one of our electronics refurbishers, sold some batteries too, and well, they ended up taking a bunch of stuff, anything they could carry or stuff in some bags they had, and the shopkeeper up and left his woman right then and there, walked away with him.
Yeah.
And if they were special like you, I think they could cause a lot of trouble around here.
Think it's likely.
I didn't know there were that many others. Judging by the dead guards that we saw in the prison, I think these others are something to be concerned about. That's for sure.
Don't worry, I'm working on that.
How?
I've got my ways. Got my ways of sneaking around, finding out information, finding people. It's not too difficult. People can't really do much when they can't touch you.
And Jen doesn't seem to know what you mean by that, but she says, well, you know, I guess we got our crazies and maybe you got yours. So, what do you think? You want to get marked?
Well, shit, if it's gonna have people not looking at us all weird and hopefully not getting ganged on for not having some sort of tattoo on the neck, why not?
What's expected in return from us? What are we
That's a good
supposed to
question.
give back?
She smiles. I like that question. Because giving back's what it's about. It's a hard life here in Cisco, and we all got to do our part. Rodrigo, he runs the Muni. They're the hospital and the munitions. They're in Fort Pitt underneath the bridge. The most secure place in Cisco. And I wouldn't blame you if that's what you wanted to do. If he'd take you. Usually he's pretty picky. He only takes people with real skills, you know, good with their hands, good with building things, good with repairing things, or good medically trained. Those are always in high demand. But, you know, most people want to be in the Muni, to be honest, because it's safe. You know, when the natives manage to cross the trolley lines, it's probably the safest place to be. And Rodrigo smiles, this big shitting grin, and says, of course, any friends of Esme are welcome in the Muni. And Jen says, well, here on the bridge, you know, I'm kind of in charge here. And I guess what we got to offer here is basically variety, you know. It's the closest thing to a real town. We got, you know, some entertainment. We usually get first pick of the supply drop after the sort. All the trading goes on here. We got a couple of, she does air quotes, bars, and, you know, we got us women who, most of the women actually The good-looking ones end up here in Bridger because, well, they feel like they can make some extra in trade. Mm. The trolls usually want anybody who's big, anybody who can guard the trolleys, because that's how we kind of get from the different areas. We kind of got a square here that we've got civilized, and she pulls out a map, and I'll show it to you. And some of it's old trolley lines and some of it's stuff we've put together, but you know, the civic centers, where the vultures, they're our scroungers, you know, they're the brave ones, are the ones who are just too restless. They go out and, you know, go to all the abandoned buildings out there. You know, it's dangerous because that's where the crazies are. But, you know, sometimes that's what you got to do to find batteries or anything that we need over here. And so down there in the civic centers where they kind of hole up, over by Fisherman's Wharf and the aquatic park, that's where the closer to where the water plant is. Down at the Golden Gate Park, that's where the hive has kind of started growing stuff over by the Garden of Flowers Conservatory. I think they've even rounded up some of the old buffalo. So they're kind of, you know, the big agricultural push, saving our behinds these days because, like I said, the supplies aren't really going to last. Yeah, am I leaving anybody out? The plumbers, you know, they were the first tribe here. They just a year into Cisco being formed, I wasn't here then. They were shipping in water through like an underground water line, and something happened. There's like some aftershocks from the earthquake and busted that line, and so we really didn't have a freshwater supply beyond rainwater. And we call him King George. He used to work at the water plant, apparently the desalinization plant, and he got it up and running again. Kind of the hero of Cisco. Everybody kind of looks up to him. And so the plumbers are people who, you know, just keep the water purified, and they've got a few lines running over here to the Fort Pitt now. So basically, you end up helping out with your tribe. If you're with the trolls, you run with the trolleys and you bring the supplies from place to place and guard it against the crazies from out in the Badlands. And if you're a plumber, you help out with that. You guys got any questions? I don't know if I'm explaining it real well.
I understand everything.
You're doing great. I think it'll be useful to get these 4 marked, but you won't really be able to do that to me, unfortunately, but I'll get by.
What do you mean?
You can't touch me. And she's gonna put her hand through her own neck.
What the fuck?
No, that's some weird shit right there.
Penny's gonna go over and try to touch Esme.
Your hands go right through her.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
How do you eat? How do you do all kinds of things like that?
I haven't really needed to eat. Can't really control this. Just kind of getting by.
How do you not sink through the ground?
I can't really explain, like, the specifics of it. I can just pass through anything.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I can't make you not stand out, but I don't reckon anybody can really do anything to you either, Jen says.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my collar popped. That seemed to be working for me until You looked way too close at all 5 of us.
Yeah, well, it was kind of hard not to after that little display out there, she says, looking at James.
Yeah.
And still, like, Rodrigo said, maybe it's for the best. I mean, she says, hope in one hand, poo in the other. You know what they say, but maybe this'll be a good thing for us here in Cisco.
Yeah, and maybe the whole others showing up as well and tearing up that one shop is a little bit concerning. I mean, they wouldn't really know the direction they went. They just went further into the city, right?
Well, they ran out of the bridge and headed south, from what I heard, but I don't really know. By the time it was over and done with, they were gone. No one really chased after them. Well, except for that guy's woman, and
I actually have a
they
question.
shouldn't chase too far. Okay.
I've seen these drones around. What's up with those?
Oh yeah. To be honest, I don't really know exactly what they're for. I know that's from their NAEA drones. I guess they're keeping an eye on things out here. I don't know why, because it's not like they have guards out here. I mean, what do they? I don't know what they do if they saw something they didn't like, but yeah, I mean, that's who they are. Mostly they patrol the harbor. Uh, you know, Back in the beginning, people would sometimes try to take a boat, and leave that way, but drones always see them. You get a certain distance away and there's something in the water, something in there that can, well, it's not pretty. Can definitely take out any small boat.
Yeah, I had some trouble with one of those coming here, but it's fine now.
Is that scary? I wouldn't, frankly, I'm terrified of going out on the water from what I've heard. But, yeah, we do see those drones here in town sometimes. We just kind of ignore them.
Got it. Well, if you want to go ahead and get them tatted up, then distribute them where they need to go, then that's fine.
Well, it's kind of up to them what they want to do. To be honest, maybe the most useful thing you can do is to track down the troublemakers. If they're anything like you, that's got me worried.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea, and maybe we can handle some of those Badlands folks. I mean, my concern here in this whole thing, if they double your numbers, I mean, what's to stop them from banding together and coming after y'all?
The only thing I can tell is that the only reason they haven't is that they're fucking crazy, you know? Like, I hardly ever see more than 10 or 20 of them together at once. I think maybe they just can't keep it together. She says it's the damnedest thing. I don't know what. There's crazy people in this world, right? But this is something else.
Weird. Well, wouldn't want them to start, so personally I'm down to find out what these guys are doing. See if we can help out. I mean, if we're gonna be fucking stuck here, might as well attempt to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, make the most of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I've already tracked down some people that I think might know something. So, I've got it handled. and I'll be sure to include these 4 in on that once you've got them all settled. Where do you get everybody marked? Just for future reference.
Oh, we just do it in here. We can either brand it or we can do a tattoo. Depends on if you want it quick and dirty or, slow and a little painful.
Fire's cleaner than them needles.
She
Yeah.
kind of nods. You got a point. And let me tell you, medicine, that's like gold here. One of the best things those vultures bring back are antibiotics because she scoffs the supply drops. Aspirin, that's what they send us, right?
It's like absolute shit being here. I feel like it's kind of unfair. Have any of you really thought about trying to leave?
Well, yeah, we thought about it, but
Yeah, try to.
I mean,
sort out
first,
plans.
I don't know how we do it. Anybody who's tried it so far, as far as I know, ended up dead. If they did make it out, I certainly never heard about it.
Where would they go?
Right. And that's the other thing is, the world, it's out there. Everybody's got their universal ID and their little job. Everybody's like a drone, basically. Might as well be one of those things flying overhead. You go along, you do your part for the community, but everybody's got a role, right? You can't just wander around and not do anything. You get noticed. I don't know what we'd do if we got out anyway. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just resigned. It's not so bad in here. I mean, we're making it work. We're not behind bars. I think we're doing better than maybe they thought we would.
Well, if that's the way it's gonna be. Might as well play along then.
She says, I'm not your warden. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. You guys haven't done anything to disturb the peace. Matter of fact, you kind of helped out there, so the last thing I want to do is be like them. You're free to come and go as you please as far as I'm concerned, but I'm also willing to give you the marks if you think that'll help out there.
I want to help out. I'll take the mark. I want to be part of the bridge.
All right, she says. Good choice. This is where all the action is. Well, unless you like, a different kind of action. Fighting. I guess the trolls and the vultures get most of that.
Yeah, I'll probably stay here at least get the mark of the Bridge of Stacks if that's all good with you.
Rodrigo looks a little disappointed that both of you have said that, but he doesn't say anything.
I'll go with the vultures. They sound cool.
All right. Well, I'll get their rep in here to okay it, but they usually accept anyone who actually has the guts to do it.
Yep.
What about you, Joe?
Really sound good.
Rodrigo gives a wide smile. The Muni is a wise choice. And of course, all of you are welcome to visit at your leisure. You may consider yourselves my friends.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo. We definitely appreciate it.
So, after you guys have this little bit of conversation, Jen opens up a drawer and she pulls out some wrapped packages and pulls out, these vacuum sealed food bars. They're vaguely recognizable as food. Seems like something that would probably last in a bunker for 100 years. And a lot of them have the NAEA symbol on it. She says, here, I don't know if any of you are hungry. This is kind of what I've got in the office. Well, I gotta go talk to the others, and she disappears for a while with Rodrigo.
Penny will crack open one of the vacuum sealed bags and start picking away at it. Well, this is...
Esme, how do you even hold a gun, Esme? How do you hold anything?
Uh, it's just one of those mysteries.
Jerry, why don't you roll intuition, or actually reason? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Oh,
Oh no, you think maybe there's some stuff she's not telling you. You don't think she's out and out lying, but you get the feeling that Esme's not telling the whole story.
I didn't need a roll to tell me that.
Well,
So you came over here by yourself, Esme?
I mean, now that the others aren't around, you can
With the
just call
first
me
group?
Mia. No, I didn't come with them. A few others. Should probably be checking in with them again soon. As much as I hate to miss your branding and how fun that'll be, I do have responsibilities elsewhere that I should be taking care of.
Of course. Maybe let them know that we're here.
Yeah,
Whoever the fuck they are.
I think I'm gonna talk to them about everything, because they're still pretty confused about everything that's going on. I'll most likely bring them by Rodrigo's tonight and set them up like you four have been. If that's what they want to do, I'll leave that option up to them. But yeah, there's another 4. So we're a sizable group, to say the least.
Seems like it. A whole assembly.
Whole tribe almost.
Yeah. Make our own tribe.
You sound like one of the other ones.
Oh. Is she pretty too?
Not as pretty as you. I mean, who could be, right?
Yeah, no, it's kind of a tough competition.
It's good seeing you again, Penny.
You too.
Glad to see you made it to the other side of all this.
Yeah. Made it to the other side with some crazy shit, apparently. Apparently you did too. I really don't remember the whole incorporeal thing.
Yeah, that's new. Just kind of been. I haven't been around much longer than you. Maybe just a few more hours.
How'd you get the gun?
Found it. The others are armed as well.
Anyway, you got a few extra?
I think most of us have 2 guns and some other weapons, so we might be able to share a little, but that's going to be up to them.
Nice and democratic.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
So, you got any other questions for me? I should probably get going.
I can't really think of anything. I mean, one of the
since we all have shit we can do, what can the others do?
Yeah, so one's name is Phantasma. She can talk to computers, I think. Seem from what I've been able to glean, that's what she can do. We have a guy named Brick. He seems to have some sort of super strength or something. I don't know. We're all still kind of figuring it out. Another guy can smell really well. I think that's about it.
That sounds like a curse, not a power. Here.
Yes, me.
These mostly sound kind of underwhelming. I mean, you kind of look around, there's not really any computers. And smelling well, I mean, it's good if you got a lot of coke, I guess, but...
Honestly, the computers
Besides
thing
that.
comes up more than you'd think it would. Especially when you have someone like her around. But then we've got, this is going to sound a bit weird. We've got 2 telepathic dogs, as well as a couple of their pack.
Tags?
Yeah,
Ethic.
Alpha and Caliban.
Is he registered?
Couldn't tell you. But I'm not super comfortable with them. But Alpha seems like a decent dog. Caliban's a bit rough around the edges. And then you've got me.
Seem like a motley crew.
Good old motley crew.
Kind of like
Esme, just suppose you couldn't find your way back. Where should we look for you?
I know how to get around. We have a map of the place.
Let's just say we couldn't find each other. Let's designate a meeting place.
The meeting place is the Mooney.
Yeah, I think that works. Back to the Muni's place.
As you guys are talking to each other, Jen and Rodrigo come back along with Lena, Alfonso, Harrison, and Hoke. And she seems to be kind of finishing up explaining things, and they don't all come in because it's a really small space in here. But they do kind of block the doorway and stare at all of you. And Harrison says, I can't believe it. And Lena says, oh man, King George is, I don't know what he's going to make of this. Hoke walks into the room, and he doesn't really make any comments other than, so who is the vulture?
Wasn't that Joe?
Negative.
No.
I think that
Nice.
was Raina Hertz.
James?
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah, it was me.
Okay. So he says, so you want fire or ink?
Fire.
Fire. Yeah.
All right. And he reaches into a backpack that he's got, and he pulls out, looks like maybe it used to be, I don't know, something in between a taser and a cattle prod. And on the end, he's
Oh shit.
he hooks on this like little metal attachment that looks like it's shaped like a V, and he flicks a button, and it starts to get really red. And he says,
Uh-oh.
he just kind of cocks his head to one side as if indicating that you should do that.
I slowly cock my head in the direction. Yes.
He leans over and he pushes the hot metal against your neck and leaves it on for 1, 2 seconds. And then pulls it away. Little bits of melted skin clinging to it. A horrible stench fills the room.
Sure wish I had that smelling power now.
He looks at you strangely and he says, anyone else?
Well, I think it's just him. This is Vulture.
He says, and turns the switch off. After a minute, he pulls a cloth out of his pack and kind of uses it as a hot pad as he snaps the V-tip off of it. And then he hands the device to Jen. And she puts a similar one on. She says, you sure? Sometimes people change their mind after they see their buddy get done.
I mean, I never asked Fire. I mean, I got the ink. I've got other inks, so I'm kind of used to it. Yeah, unless you want Fire. I'm just gonna look at Midas.
Yeah, make sure it takes 2.
Oh God.
You know,
Disgusting.
I'm just gonna give you guys some room. I've got some other stuff I need to take care of.
Yeah, you do
I'll
Rico says, you will be back, right?
yeah, I'll come back to the Muni tonight and kind of catch up with you there.
Yes, please do. Be very careful.
Yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, great to meet all of you. Have fun with being burned, I guess. And she's just going to like fall back and fall through the floor. And then she's gonna like dismiss that copy of her.
Everyone in the room is just kind of staring where she used to be, except for Hokei, who's sitting in a chair looking at his nails.
What happened to the gun?
It went with
Yeah.
her. Jen goes forward and says, you wanted to be with the bridge, is that right?
I think I can help the bridge.
Good. And she flicks the switch, and the bridge symbol, which is the one that looks like upside down V with a line in it. You know, now that you know it's a bridger symbol, you can kind of see the resemblance to the Golden Gate Bridge. And she brings it over to your neck and says, 1, 2, and then before she says 3, she just puts it on your neck, and everyone hears the same sizzle. It hurts a lot. Rodrigo starts digging around in his bag, and he pulls out a little shaker bottle and opens it up and starts emptying some pills into his palm. And was there anybody else?
I got a tattoo. I really don't want my skin burned.
All right. Joe, what did you decide? You said the Muni, right?
Yep, that's what I said.
All right. Ink or fire?
Go ahead and burn it in me.
Oh, what's wrong with you people?
It kills the germs.
Rodrigo says, a little sample of why the Muni is the best place to be. And he tosses a little blue pill to you.
Oh, excellent. He'll pop it in his mouth and actually chew it.
He says, it won't help right away, but, you know, you'll be glad for it in an hour. And he takes the device and then, like Jen did, you know, he puts a new tip on it. And he brands you as well. And it hurts a lot.
Motherfucker. Oh, that's smart.
Everybody's in quite a bit of pain afterwards, but Jen is around and does have some aspirin that she hands out to everybody else. And you are all now branded with a tribe. Esme is not here. So Jen says, I think we've got an empty box. Had some people transfer. It does happen occasionally. People will get together, they'll want to live in the same place. And we had a guy who became a plumber to be with his woman not too long ago. So his place is empty. I can show you over there. You guys can kind of make that place your own for the moment while you decide what you want to do. And she looks outside. It looks like they're finishing up the unloading, and not that you guys aren't important, but this is our bread and butter over here. This is what keeps us alive from day to day. So I gotta mind this. Keep an eye on this new guy too. Alfonso, you taking the other guy out? And he says, I kind of wished he had died under that shadow. I would not have to worry about taking him out beyond the tracks. But yes, I'll send him out with some of my men in the evening. And Jen nods and says, "Here, I'll show you to the place. You guys, I'll come check on you later, or if you're not here, I guess I'll assume you're over at the Muni." And Rodrigo says, "Yes, please do not be strangers. But I too must go collect my share of the goods." And everybody kind of nods and they shake your hand as they walk out.
Penny gives a bit of a wave to everyone, head nod as they all leave. Well, guess we're staying for a bit.
Yep.
Guess we go back to the assigned apartment.
Yeah, she takes you to a outfitted cargo container that doesn't look like much on the outside. It doesn't really look like much on the inside, but compared to some things you've seen around here, it doesn't look that bad either. It's small though. Obviously, not all of you can sleep in here comfortably. This is just one end. On the other end, there's a bedroom that's got a full-size bed in it, and on the side there's the couch. But for now, it's a little bit of privacy.
Penny goes over to the couch, kind of crashing on it, spreading her arms and leaning back. I feel like I've been sitting on a couch forever.
About 20 years.
Yeah, the rest of the time getting bed sores, just sleeping the whole time. So, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Looks like we're at Esme's beck and call is what it looks like. Fit in until she tells us what's up.
Apparently.
Yeah, that's not my plan. That's my observation.
Gotcha. So, what is your plan, Jerry?
Well, I can sure fix batteries. I can make us a little bit of something. Getting a job. Probably the best thing I can do to help us out. Have any ideas?
Well, I'll do what I can around here. See if I can make a few extra coin. Who knows? Figure out what the fuck the currency is for one. Forgot to ask that. But we'll find out. And she kind of touches around the mark on her neck and shudders a bit. This is some interesting handiwork.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some folks who won't like these.
No, I'm
You'll meet them.
I remember they used to say it was hard to get a job if you had tattoos near your neck and face, but apparently that's what you need in this day and age.
It's progress, I guess.
I guess. What about you two? What are you planning on doing?
Living life on the edge, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's guess what the vultures do. I don't know. I guess we're gonna be hunting these guys down. Other than that, I gotta take a look to see what exactly the fort has in store.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea to know what they got down there.
Yeah, quite interesting to see. But you guys look like you're gonna be doing all right.
Yeah, might be good to see. Hmm. Hopefully, Mia gets back to us quick. I would kind of like to know exactly what's going on, but yeah, I think instead of waiting around, we should be out searching, see if we can find these other guys. But I have to see what they did to those guards. We should be careful.
How
They
well do
really-
you know that Esme? Mia.
Oh, well. From what I remember, I mean, everything's still a little bit fuzzy here and there, but cellmates for a while.
Uh, just seems like we're putting ourselves in her hands, and she's not being totally honest with
She ain't being totally honest, but maybe in time I'll work on her. I mean, she owes me one. At least that's the way I see it. So I might have to remind her of that so we can get some more answers.
There's a knock at the door.
You want to get it?
her. I'll get it. Yeah. I'll open it.
You open the door, and there's a person there who is holding like a canvas satchel, and says, I hear somebody's getting a tattoo. That's what I'm here to do.
Oh,
And
that's me.
Well, looks like you're no virgin to this. And he comes in and opens up the satchel on the table and starts pulling out a tattoo needle and some inks. And you're relieved to see that he's got a very small vial of something clear that he is using to sanitize or at least that's what you assume he's doing, the equipment.
Yeah, she relaxes on the couch, tilting her head sideways. All right, make it fancy.
So she starts working on your tattoo, and it's just black. It's nothing. It doesn't take too long, and she says, "Almost done. Just a few more. Little pricks here."
Yeah. Just keep going.
And as she's finishing up, you hear some shouting outside, and she says, "Oh crap! Okay, I'm putting this down. I don't want to hurt you." And she runs out, opens open the door, and she says, "What's going on?" And someone walks up to her, and you guys can hear some excitement, something about someone being burned.
What the fuck? Penny will get up. Try
Yeah.
not to touch your neck and... Shit.
I'm headed out too.
Me too.
All right, you guys head out the door, and this woman who said her name was Sophia, she's talking to another person, to someone that she seems to know, and he's telling her that someone burned real bad, and he says something about two of them dead.
Where?
The person turns to you and says, out in the tunnels. Not too far from here, but near the tracks.
Penny looks over the other three. Maybe this is one of the guys.
Let's go look.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tattoo. It's like a bitch, but good job.
She kind of claps Sophia on the shoulder before hustling past her.
She says,
wait.
"Oh, yeah, but no problem. Do you guys know where you're going?"
Can you show us?
She points off the bridge, and she says, the tunnels. The road was messed up, and she points east. And so the tracks had to be built down in the tunnels. Mark said that one of the troll trolleys was attacked there, and most of them made it back, but 2 of them were killed, and a whole bunch of them got burned. And the weird thing is, Mark said that the trolls said that it wasn't natives.
Oh, I think we know who's responsible for this one.
She says, "You do?"
Got an inkling.
Well, okay, she says, be careful. I'm sure the trolls will be sending their own men to sort this out once they, figure it out. But nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. I'll probably be seeing you later.
It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Yeah, you too. Always good to have new faces here in the stacks. So you guys head through the bridge, and everyone is talking. You see Alfonso talking to a whole group of extremely large looking people. Some of them are women, most of them are men. All of them are marked with a T, and he has a very concerned expression on his face. There's a person under a canvas tarp. I mean, you can tell it's a body, and it's probably dead. That's he's looking at, peeking under the canvas, and he makes a face as you guys are nearing it. He doesn't seem to be paying any attention to you. He's very, focused on the men he's talking to. Another man that he's talking to, his entire arm is just charred black. The skin flaking off part of his shoulder and the bottom side of his chin have also been burned very seriously. And Rodrigo is coming up and issuing some orders to people to run down to the Muni. Obviously everyone's very focused on this group here on the bridge. Do you want to stop and talk to them, or are you going to keep going?
Let's stop and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey there. I guess this is one of the guys. Penny will kind of approach, but
Anybody who's
hesitantly.
obviously burned?
Yeah, there's one person who is obviously burned, who Alfonso is listening to. Well, and although he seems to be speaking kind of haltingly, and the other person with him is more speaking for him. He's got his arm burned and part of his neck and chin. Alfonso turns and looks as you guys come up, and he says, "You know anything about this?"
We have at least a feeling on maybe where the person came from that was responsible.
He says in a low voice, kind of facing you, so his voice doesn't carry out into the crowd. Miguel here, he says that the person who did this they didn't have a weapon.
How did they do it then?
He says that he did it with his hands.
With his hands.
Does
Yeah.
this sound familiar to you?
I think so.
Was there just one person?
He turns and looks toward the other guys. I think he said that there were a couple more with him, and he looks over, and the guy he was talking to nods, and he says, "But they didn't have, fire hands. There was some other weird stuff going on, but he was the only one with fire."
Tell us about the other crazy stuff.
The guy looks to Alfonso, and Alfonso nods, like, yeah, you can talk to these people. And he turns around and he says, you're going to think that, well, okay, I already told you about the fire hands, he says. There was stuff flying around off the trolley. Just whipping off the trolley.
Was there air blowing it, or
No, like it was just, we were carrying some boxes, some goods in boxes, and some of the boxes just, they just started lifting themselves off the trolley.
and where did they go?
Toward these people. That I think there were 3 of them. And
What
then
was in the boxes?
he says, really, we just do the delivering, just stuff that the vultures scavenged or supplies from. No, this didn't have any supplies from the hive, so it would have been mostly any, medicine, batteries, clothes, anything that the vultures would have scavenged that they thought would be good here in town. They were sealed, so I don't know exactly.
And they took those and then they attacked, or they attacked and then they took that?
It all kind of happened at the same time. And well, we stopped the trolley when we saw them because they kind of flagged us down, and they obviously weren't, hairy and nasty and dirty and crazy, so we figured out maybe they need some help. And suddenly it's fire and stuff whipping around, and heck, Larry over there, he got just he says he got lifted straight off the trolley. I thought that he fell, but he says not. Larry says, I tell you, I did not fall. I don't fall off the trolleys.
Tell us how it felt when it happened.
Larry shrugs. He says, I don't know. It was just like, like being pushed, but only not really from the front. It's, I guess, more like being grabbed. Although I didn't feel anything grabbing me. It was just, I don't know. I guess I felt the force of being yanked in that direction. That's as good as I can explain it. It was really weird.
Once it pulled you off, or the force pulled you off, what happened next?
Well, I landed on the ground and kind of knocked the wind out of me, and I started getting up, trying to figure out what happened. I guess at first I thought I did fall off the trolley, but then I saw, the fire, and it hit my buddy over here, and then somebody shouted, "Get down!" And then there was just fire shooting everywhere, and I guess I did see some of those crates moving off the trolley. I don't know how else they would have gotten off. Everything's tied down, secured real good. I got up, I got on my feet. I saw these people Some of them were grabbing boxes, and one of them had a box, and he was kind of running off. And I guess the guy with the fire was kind of, I guess you'd call it covering him, you know? And it kind of looked like some more of the boxes were following after him. And I jumped back on the trolley, and somebody shouted, "Go, go, go!" And, we took off. And by the time we got here, uh, two of the guys had died.
And they murdered for nothing but a couple of boxes.
He says, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of something we're used to, we've been attacked by the natives before. They'll do anything to get this stuff, but, just the chance of getting any fresh food or what they think we might have, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like they do it just because they're nuts. But this, I ain't never seen anything like this.
Anybody else got a question?
Pretty fucking crazy.
Pretty much sums it all up, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, how long ago was it?
He says, well, it took us probably 10 minutes to make it the rest of the way here on the trolley.
Gotcha.
Alfonso says, look, I'm going to put together some men and we're going to go check this out ourselves. And he seems a little unhappy about saying this. It might be that you're all a little better equipped to handle this if they're anything like, and he just kind of looks at you all.
I don't know. I don't think we got flame retardant suits.
He says, well, let me tell you, we don't either.
We can try our best. I do think we can help you out. Pretty sure we're all willing to. But I
Help
don't
us
want to
out.
volunteer.
We're all part of it now. We're in with you.
All right, well, this trolley wasn't due to be here quite yet, so we've still got another one in the depot. We're going to unload what we got here, and I'll send some guys back over there following you. But if Larry's willing, he can pilot the trolley and get you back there, and you can at least check it out. Tell me what you think. Don't do anything stupid, we can always get more goods, I guess. It's harder to replace people.
Make sure
That's
to be
touching.
He looks at you as if he can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not. Flexes a little, grunts. Larry, you willing to go take these folk back there? And he says, what are they going to do? They ain't even trolls. He says, just, they might know a little bit more about what's going on. So, I guess, whatever you say, boss. Now? He says, yeah, now. And he says, follow Larry over to the trolley.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully we can get this figured out for you. I don't want to see anyone else crispy.
All right, so you guys go down, and sure enough, there's a San Francisco trolley. And it isn't functioning. If any of you know anything about trolleys, it doesn't have like a cable attached to the top. It seems to have something else powering it. There's some reflective substance on the top of the trolley, so maybe it's solar powered. But there are trolley tracks. And Larry says, all aboard.
Okay.
All right. I step in.
All right, you guys
Sounds good.
board the trolley, and you take off, and you head down, and he stops here. It's a big underground tunnel that, probably used to be under. It goes under the regular streets, and all around you, you can see that some of the streets are broken up. So you can see why they had to bypass the trolley into this roadway. And, it doesn't look like they built it. This was obviously something that was already there. You can even see a couple cars still parked inside. On first glance, you don't really see anything.
And we don't have our shadow sight.
Ah, well. I mean, I can take a look, see if I can see anything. I'm gonna attempt to see if you can stretch kind of the sight farther in. Ooh.
Very good. So yeah, you're able to, for yourself anyway, kind of illuminate the entire tunnel. You kind of make your shadow vision focus go from the beginning to the end. You see scorch marks here and there. You see a crate that appears to have been opened. You see a jumpsuit on the ground. Actually, 2 jumpsuits. You see another one further on. And that's all you see in the tunnel. Whoever they are, they're gone now.
I am gonna turn over the jumpsuit, see if I can read what's on the back.
On the first jumpsuit, you see N.A.E.A C block control. And then it says under that, Cinder. And on the other jumpsuit, it just the same. It says N.A.E.A C block control, Witch. And inside the container, you see that there's some clothes, sturdy stuff that maybe the vultures thought might be useful, well-made boots, etc.
Any of them fit?
Most of them are size for men, and kind of your average size, so as long as you're not exceptionally large or small, it probably would fit.
Penny's gonna relay it back. So, doesn't look like they're here at all. I see evidence of the fight, what went down. Boxes, they've obviously taken off the jumpsuits, changed into the clothes. Apparently, Cinder and Witch. Or at least the aliases that we're looking for. Assuming that their names relate to what they're doing.
Yeah, like burning stuff to a cinder. Is that what you mean by cinder?
I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But otherwise, it's same here. But, at least we know they went this way.
As you guys stand back at the trolley looking down the dark tunnel toward the light at the other end, you wonder how many of these members of Control have made it into the city and how much trouble they're going to cause, not just for the residents, but for you and your ability to fit in and get along here without being harassed. Where they've gone, you don't know. Apparently Esme might have a lead. She says she's going to meet you all at the Muni this evening. as you ponder what your next steps may be and how else this world has changed since you last remember. The camera pans out, leaves you all with the suns on your back and the shadows of the tunnel on your face, thinking, conversing. And that's where we're going to end the session.
A